Welcome. It's time to board ATD Airlines. Take your seat, strap in, and prepare for takeoff.
Gold dripping off the ropes, family tree colossal, bloodline royal, built on that gospel. Legacy deep, no shallow pool splashing. Dynasty rise, all doubters get to crashing. I acknowledge the dynasty, crown so heavy. You see in the flames, every move stays steady. From the islands to the stage, the family's decree. Bow down, feel the power, this is royalty, royalty. Palm trees whisper where the legends were born. Tides carry tales of the mat they adorn. From Rikishi stomp to Amaga's rage. History inked on a champion's page. Red lace the carpets, the morning drums beat. Echoes of the forefathers under our feet. Our feet, our feet, our feet, our feet, our feet. I acknowledge the dynasty, crown so heavy. You see in the veins, every move stays steady. From the islands to the stage, the family's decree. Bow down, feel the power, this is royalty, royalty. Fire in the eyes, that's the bloodline's code. Generations built the path, we just walk the road.
And welcome, guys, to a very special, not a watch party. It's not The Room. If you're looking for The Room, you're going to have to wait. It is a very special interview. This is the second time we've done it. So if you want to see the serious one, go back. But, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely, the talented, Miss Vale Anoa'i is in the building!
Hi. All right. Yes, you are. We are excited once again to have Miss Vale on the show. Again, y'all. Now, listen, if y'all didn't see the first one, it's still on the YouTube. That's why y'all need to subscribe, okay? Shout out to the people that's already in the live, Miss Vale. We have people watching from X and from YouTube tonight. So let's just get right into it, Monty. Wherever you all want to go with it, I'll be right here. We'll chit chat.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about you in 2025 because I've been watching your TikToks and. Ma'am, you have so many mermaid tails and just what is that like being a mermaid?
Well, it is the grand passion of my life. From the time I was, I want to say 3 years old, my main ambition in life was to be a mermaid. As a matter of fact, when I was in preschool, they asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I honestly said, I want to be a mermaid. And the reaction was not exactly, encouraging, but I'm like, I want to be a mermaid. Is that so hard to believe? And then as it turns out, living in Florida is the best possible place to live if you have ambitions of being a mermaid. And then one thing led to another, and now I have 22 tails, 22 of them. And I've got my eye on 2 more, but I've been really good. I have not purchased a new tail since October 15th of 2025. Look at me. I'm holding it together. But so what's it like being a mermaid? Like I said, it's literally my grand passion come to life. It's the ultimate dream come true. I'm now SSI certified, which is awesome. They have a mermaid certification. And I figured if I want to make this a major part of my life, I want to do it the right way. So I went and got my SSI mermaid certification, which was an amazing accomplishment. I was super proud of myself for that. And then I went on a mad tail acquiring mania. It was right around my birthday last year. I'm like, let me just treat myself. And I treated myself a little too much. And now it's like, all right, I need to slow down. I need some tail rehab right now. So October, November, December, January. So I'm almost 3 full months clean from buying any new mermaid tails. But just there's no feeling like tailing up in a beautiful place, either in my own pool or out in the springs, at the beach, wherever, and just becoming one with the water and just living out my childhood fantasies and There's nothing cooler than when I see a little kid on the beach will notice me and my tail or at the springs or wherever, and they'll just start flipping out and they run over, they want to take pictures, and it's like, I love this feeling so much. But for me, it's just an opportunity to be my truly whimsical self and just live out my childhood fantasies at 40. Well, I started at 38, but 2 years in now, and I would never, ever stop mermaiding. I'll be 100 years old and still tailing up and swimming in the springs.
Hilarious.
In my honest opinion, it's something about being 40. You just want to get the big things accomplished and get them done pronto. So to actually have mermaids, so they have certifications for mermaids? What?
Yes, there's the Patty, and then there's SSI. They're both organizations that do actual mermaid certifications.
So I was going to ask you, and I'm glad she kind of brought that up to transition into my question, because what specific mer talents did you have to get this certification?
Well, the first thing you have to do is swim back and forth without a tail for my pool length, it was like 35 laps without stopping. That was just the start. Then you had to do a 5-minute float where your feet never touched the ground. You just float. And that was like heaven after swimming back and forth 35 times.
Right.
And then you have to tail up underwater where there is no ground beneath your feet. So you have to be able to maneuver yourself into a tail. Then you learn how to rescue people. You learn if there's someone who's really, really tired or they're unconscious, you learn how to hold them the right way when you're in the water and you have no way to put your fins on the ground. So you learn how to save people, rescue people, it's really a safety thing. SSI, so you learn the cool things like blowing bubble rings and the bubble kisses and things like that, flips, backwards, frontwards. There's a lot of really cool things. And then you have to be able to get out of the water onto the edge of the pool without using your legs. So you got to have some serious propulsion and arm strength. Dookie, crappy, weak arms. But I could, use my propulsion power to kind of shoot myself up and turn and get up there. It's like, okay, as long as I can get out, I pass that part. So, but yeah, I passed and it was amazing. And I was so proud of myself. And it's like, I'm a SSI certified mermaid. It's like, wow. That was one of those things that was on my bucket list for 2025. I really, really wanted to get that done. And I was so glad that I did.
Really
Mimi
cool
says Mermaid Tales Anonymous. With a little smile.
Oh, believe me, I am not the only one. There are so many other MERS out there that are just as obsessed as I am. And some of them have a lot more fundage to play with than I do. So they're able to buy, like every month, they're buying these stunningly gigantic, gorgeous tails. And I'm like, I'm a teacher.
Yes.
So like mermaid intervention.
Big tails. But it's worth it. And then the thing is, it's not like I'm just collecting them and hanging them up. I'm using these. These are part of my business. So technically, they're a business expense.
There you
Which
go.
technically means you can write them off for your taxes.
I can.
There you go. I have seen, like, one of the favorite ones I want to think is, like, I like the one that you got. Anything with the orange, let me think. Is it like an orange and a red? And then I think you have a red and black one. I think that I've seen you in that I really like.
I have the bright orange and yellow one. That one is a FinFun tail. I love FinFun. They're an amazing company. I got my first several tails from FinFun. And every once in a while, I still grab a FinFun tail because I really like these tails. But the yellow and orange one was from FinFun. Actually, the big red and black one is a custom designed FinFun tail. They have this custom tail designer tool on their website that they debuted last year. And it was the worst thing that could have ever happened to my wallet, but I had so much fun. I custom designed, let me think here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to say I've custom designed 4 tails that are just my own design. And then FinFun is able to print them and mail them out to me with the vinyl insert and everything. And I was like, oh no, I'm in so much trouble.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh goodness. This awesome young lady right here has a question for you, Miss Mimi. She is she's within our network. She has her, she does the Mimi morning show. So she's within our network that our pod is in. But she says, congratulations on obtaining your SSI. What are your goals for 2026?
And that correlates with our next question.
Perfect. So in 2026, one of the things I desperately want to do is travel more with my tails, get out of Florida, get out of the United States. I'm actually planning a trip again to Ireland and Scotland for the summer. And I'm definitely bringing a tail. Like, I don't care how I'm going to get it there. I am bringing a tail because I have a goal to tail up right on the shore of Loch Ness and to tail up right at the ferry pools on the Isle of Skye. And then in Ireland, there's this gorgeous place called Glendalough, and I want to bring my tail there and I don't care if I freeze to death, it'll be worth it, because no matter when you go to Ireland or Scotland, it's going to be cold. I was in Scotland in June, and it was like 40, 50 degrees. It was hailing. I'm like,
Oh no.
I love this place so much. It's worth freezing. It's worth everything. But it gets extremely cold there, but I don't care. Like, I will take a moment, shed all my layers, just pop the tail on. It's like, take the picture, film a video, put all the layers back on and shake for 45 minutes. But I definitely want to mermaid out of the country more. I did Canada last year, which was super cool, but I want to go farther. And then I would also love to have more mermaid story time bookings. I would love to do more birthday parties, just more opportunities to bring my mermaid magic to as many people as I possibly can in 2026.
Oh, I love that. I love that. There's one video that you made on TikTok not too long ago. Can I just tell you right now? I don't know how you guys shot it, but you're underwater and it is just so beautifully shot in the way you did it.
If it was
That
with the
one thing that I just wanted to
was
make,
it with
because I
the
saw the
reddish
video and I was like,
colored
oh
team?
my gosh.
Was it
I
with a
don't
reddish
remember.
colored team?
Pardon?
Was it with a reddish colored tail, and were there sharks and stingrays in the water?
I don't remember. I don't think it was that. You were in your pool, I think, and like
Oh yeah.
there was a moment where you turned and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a 90s music video I'm watching. But
So
I just love the way it was shot. I was like, that was beautiful.
What I do is I have an underwater digital camera, and I attach it to this little tripod that's got rubber legs and it's adjustable, which I love. And I just set that on the bottom step of the pool, and I angle it just right where it's kind of like in the far side. And then I hit record, I go down, I start swimming, I record. And then when I upload it, that's when I get all the screenshots, because obviously I can't film and take photos with this old school digital camera at the same time. So when I put it on my Google Drive and then I go to upload it, it's like screenshot. And sometimes I get some really good ones. And I just get so happy when that happens. It's the best.
But I just saw that one and I was like, this is like a late 90s music video. Like, I just thought it was so cool.
Thank
I just
you.
like the way that angle was shot and everything. Excuse me. I'm talking like somebody that knows what they're talking about, and I don't. I just like the way it was very artistic.
You sure sound like you know what you're talking about, which is awesome.
It was very artistic to me, and I enjoyed it, and I just wanted to know, like, do they make waterproof cameras like that? I'm like, I know she didn't use her iPhone to do this, because
I don't know.
She put an iPhone in water. What's going to happen to it?
No iPhones for me. No, I actually did buy a really nice digital camera that's specifically for underwater, and it's the dream. That thing was probably the best money I ever spent in my life, because I'm able to create. The minute it gets warm outside, I am flinging myself in the pool with a tail, and it's like, record, go. And then lately I've been swimming with the long flowy gowns on and a tail, and that is just game changing. When I did that for the first time, it's like, okay, I don't think I'll ever swim without a fabulous gown and a tail ever again, because this is the coolest thing ever. And it just makes for such cool effects.
Honestly, it was fabulous, though. Les. She's muted.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
All
right. So
continue.
let's talk about opportunities for booking. I understand that you were talking about wanting to do more birthday parties and everything else. Mm-hmm. Is there any way that the people can find you and book you?
Oh, yeah. So I am very active on Facebook. I'm very active on Instagram and on TikTok. But what I do, especially on Facebook, there's a lot of like local word of mouth groups and like groups specifically for a certain cities or the county. And I go on there and I post a really nice post basically explaining all of the services I offer. And it, people, if they're interested, they can contact me. And word of mouth is really the best way. If I do an event, I'll always try to hand out my business cards because I'm like, look, pass this on to somebody who has kids, who wants to have a mermaid at their party. Or they'll ask me flat out, do you do birthday parties? I said, yes, I do. And I did one for I want to say he just turned 2. And the funny thing was, it was an in-water party. It was at this big public pool. And turned out the kid had zero interest in me as a mermaid. But there was another kid that happened to be there who was absolutely fascinated. And she just swam by my side for a solid hour. And her parents were so grateful that I was interacting with her because she wasn't even involved in the party. But I said, look, if the birthday kid's not going to engage and you get to be the birthday kid today. And it was so nice. And her parents were so kind. And they even Zelled me or Venmoed, whatever it was. They Venmoed me a tip because I was, hanging out with her daughter and talking to her and showing her my tail and it just bringing that magic. And it was such a nice feeling. It's like, look, I don't even mind that the birthday kid had no interest in that there was a mermaid because one kid did. And that one kid's whole day was made. And I'm all about making people's day.
Okay, Mimi has a wonderful question. She says, "What's the most interesting thing you've done? The most interesting event you've been as a mermaid at? Are there any events? Are there any more events you do that are more common than not?"
Most interesting event. I did a couple of Comic Cons, which is fun. I love doing Comic Cons because not only do I get to be a costume character, but I have my art for sale. I have my books for sale, my Vale's Varied Treasures for sale, a lot of my craft creations. So it's kind of like a double bonus. But I also love the Mermaid Storytime events, whether they're at a bookstore or a library. There was one in particular at the Fruitland Park Library. It was like they were doing themed weeks, and this one happened to be for the color blue. So they contacted me and asked me if I would do a mermaid appearance. I was not expecting the gigantic crowd that showed up. There were at least 108 kids all dressed up as mermaids. And I'm like, this is incredible. And that was really cool. And the local newspaper wrote up a story about me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So definitely mermaid story times. The Comic Cons are a blast. But I also got to host a few mermaid craft classes, which was awesome. Because there's so many things, like you have my Vale's Varied Treasures can very easily become mermaid themed treasures. And I do a lot of those actually. So you have your seashells, your sea glass, your pearls, sand. There's so many ways to customize them, make them your own. So basically any chance I get to tail up and just do something with the people, it's the greatest. But I always like to have my husband around because he's strong. And when I have a tail and I don't have legs, it's like, well, hopefully there's a rolly chair that he can just roll me into the room. Rolly chairs are a mermaid's best friend. Way easier than wagons. And he doesn't have to sling me over his shoulder and carry me, though he could. He is a pro wrestler, so.
Right. And it's, that's, like we're getting in here and we'll move into talking about that a little bit and about your family. And I have noticed the one thing about your family is that y'all are so it's like multi-talented. You have those, I see some who are getting, the activism, the political side in their lives. I see and just representing the, your culture, your heritage, and things like that. I see athletes, I know Vaughn played volleyball. I know, you had obviously what we all know and what everybody's here for is the wrestling, but and then what you do, with the artistic, it's like and I don't know, I'm like, I look at that, I look at y'all, and I'm like, man, they different, so many different talents in your family, and it's like, but it's when I notice one thing, the common theme is like, no matter what you're choosing to do or who is doing it, it's like what inspires me is you're putting your all into it, whether
Mhm.
whether it's football, whether it's volleyball, whether it's activism and helping people, or whether it's art or even in your daily job helping children, you all put your whole or writing your whole heart into it. And that's what I love. It's so diverse, but yet it's kind of all the same just for that reason. And now, is that a part because many of you, or perhaps all of you, have grown up in that being a part of culture, of heritage, as being like giving and giving back and family? I know definitely I've learned family definitely is a part of when it comes to culture, but I don't know if there's really a question, but like, what do you agree in the diversity, like in the family and talents and giving and what you all give to back to us and to the universe and to the world?
Well, an easy way to answer that question, I'm sure you've all seen the absolutely wonderful movie Encanto.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Everyone in the Madrigal family use their gifts to help the people.
Yes.
It's never a selfish thing. If you have a gift, it's your job to share that gift with the world. And I feel like my family is very much the same way. None of us have a gift and hoard it, or have a talent and to just keep it to ourselves. It's like we offer our gifts to the world. And you mentioned a lot of very different gifts and talents that my family has, but you got to hear us sing. I don't think there's anyone in my Samoan side of the family who does not have a stunningly beautiful singing voice. Like, they can sing.
Now, I will say this: when Reno was on American Idol, and I still, if I could find a video of him singing, I'd love to hear him sing. I was for him instantly, because I was like, that kid can sing, when he was on that show at that time. And but yeah, yes. See, that is true. I should have thought of him. That was one of those first ones I should have brought up, but I got chatty and I got nervous. I ain't gonna lie.
No need for the nerves. But I guess it is a cultural thing, because if you're given a gift in this world, it's your job to share the gift. Whatever it is, whether it's athleticism, whether it's intellectualism, whether it's artistic talent, no matter what it is, you have this gift for a reason. And it's never just to further your own agenda. It's to raise everyone up with you. And not just the family, but anyone you come in contact with. If you can make somebody's life better in any way, even 1% better through your gifts, that's what you're here for, to share what you do and to have it help people.
Yes, and that's what Nessa was saying here. If I could, I feel like you tonight leaning in to see these comments. She says, yes, I love that, because why hide parts of you? That's a beautiful way. Why hide parts of you?
I
That
like
was
that.
really, really beautiful. And now that brings us to the important part and the reason why this podcast exists. Let's talk about the business and the family in the business. And better yet, I want to get your take on the bloodline storyline as a whole in general. What do you think about the storyline?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I have not watched pretty much any wrestling since shortly after Dad passed away. I don't really know what's happening with the bloodline storyline right now. I know that it fractured. I know that there were two different factions. I know that Paul Heyman decided to break away from Roman, and it's kind of like, I don't know much about what's going on lately because I spent so much of my life focusing so heavy on wrestling. It's like, it's kind of nice to not know what's going on. Now, Julio, my husband, he watches every week, of course. And if there's something major that's happening, I'll see clips of things online. But I feel like when it was in its prime, it was absolutely brilliant. And then it kind of lost its way for a bit. And I'm not sure if it's kind of refound its focus. I'm just happy that they're all still there. I'm just happy that anytime you turn on WWE programming, someone in my family is still on that screen, still entertaining the world. And in any capacity, that's a good thing. And I know Paul Heyman is kind of a pariah in the storyline. However, he is one of the few people from the wrestling world who has kept in touch with me, who checks in on me every once in a while, and he is just the sweetest, kindest, most genuine soul, and I absolutely adore that man. It's like you can't talk bad to me about Paul Heyman, because I know the real Paul Heyman, and God, he was so helpful to me. Even at Dad's funeral, he spent the longest time just sitting with me and holding my hand and telling me stories about when he lost his dad, and about how stories that he had never told another living soul about my dad and uncle. And just the things he was saying to me, the advice he was giving me was so healing and so beautifully timed. Like, I will never be able to thank him enough for taking that time to sit with me and just give me that one-on-one undivided attention. When there were so many other people in the room, he made me feel like I was the only person. And I think it's because he knew, out of all my dad's kids, I was the one that lived with him the longest. I was the one that was there every single day. I was the one who was just, in a way, I was the one who was truly with him and closest. And I mean, they all loved him. He loved all of them, but I was the one who never left. So I was the one who was truly there. And Dad was the center of my universe for so many years. And losing him was like losing like my insides. I had no anchor, no sense of direction. Like I was completely, like I didn't have any sense of what my life was going to be past that point. But that conversation with Paul Heyman that day just kind of reset me in a way. And I'm never going to be able to thank him enough for that. And after that, I felt like I'm actually allowed to just restructure my life now and make it about my passions and like my desires instead of always the business. So it's, in a way, it was very freeing. And I know without any doubt that Dad would be very proud of me and all that I've accomplished over the last year and a half, and that I still hear his voice all the time, like sometimes in my head, sometimes I see him in my dreams, and he's always happy in the dreams, which really means a lot to me. And it's very comforting when I have those moments where I'll just hear his voice and I'll be like, oh, yeah, that was Dad.
Yes. And it's funny because like I had done an episode like of a show, I had done a show on Paul Heyman, and I had, in my research had found basically that your dad and uncle kind of took him, quote unquote, under their wing and kind of just so, and then of course I've heard him talk about how he's been with the family all this time. And I could just imagine seeing you all through his eyes, seeing 3-year-old Roman in a locker room. I could just imagine, him getting to see like, for example, with him where he is at now, basically just a rock star in the business. So, and yes, we kid as fans, we that slimy Paul, but I could see also that side to an extent, I can see that side too when the man can speak. I have heard
God, yes,
meaning of his interviews, and I'm like, can I just sit under him for like, I'm like, give me 5 free minutes because I can't afford any more just to sit and hear you say something profound because it always does.
Did you hear the interview he did with Stephanie McMahon on her podcast?
Yes.
I
My
hadn't
God,
heard
that
the
was my
full thing.
favorite episode.
Okay. I will have to finish watching it. I will definitely have to finish watching it. But we have another member of the network. He's in and he has a question. Let me get this up here. Monty, can you see it? Can you see John's comment?
Yes, that is the 5-time UC winner from Sports for You podcast, Mr. John Watson. He says, growing up, who has more the wild Samoan, your dad or your uncle?
Oh, definitely my uncle. My uncle was like the true wild Samoan. And my dad was a little more of an intellectual, I guess you could say. My dad was more of the business guy. He was more the, and my uncle, he was the true wild Samoan, like no question. Uncle Siko was, Uncle Siko was much more wild than my dad was, but boy, my dad had his moments. And I always used to tell people, oh yeah, the wild Samoan, that is not a gimmick. That is 100% who they are. They did some crazy, ridiculous things, usually just to get a rise out of people. If they had any audience whatsoever, it's like, oh God, here we go.
Oh my goodness. I love
It's like,
it. I love it.
You know what? It kind of reminds me of Jimmy and Jay now, if you noticed it. It's just
Definitely.
they tend to, like, Jimmy seems to be the more calm, serious one, whereas Jay is all over the place.
There's it's like that with every family, especially with brothers who are that close. Like they're twins, but my dad and my uncle were not twins. My dad was actually a year older, but they were basically for all intents and purposes, they were twins. And they were soulmates, honestly. So many times, it's like whenever, especially my dad, whenever he was out in public, it's like he would forget how to act. He would just get ridiculous. And I'd be like, oh my God, Father, what are you doing? Especially at any doctor's office. We would go to any doctor's appointment and he would just go off the rails, start acting a fool. I'm like, Dad, could you please act human? He just loved that attention. He loved the fun of just having an audience. And he would always turn it up to 11. And I'm like, oh gosh, my father. He was so funny. And Uncle just didn't have a filter. Uncle was the wild Samoan all the time. It was amazing.
And now you look at the next generation and I'm like, okay, I see it. I see it. Mr. John also has another question. He says, out of all your siblings and cousin, who reminds you so much of your dad and uncle outside of wrestling?
Outside of wrestling. Ooh, that is... So who they were outside of wrestling was often extremely different than... So they both had very, very big hearts, like huge hearts. They had such a love for anyone in need. My dad and uncle, both, they did a lot with people with special needs. My dad was very much a part of, he used to work with the Easter Seals Society all the time, kids with Down syndrome, and he would go visit people in the hospital. And that was just who they were. They had such a soft spot for people with special needs or people who needed help in any way. All they wanted to do was help people. They always cared so much. And I would have to say my sister Monica probably has the heart that's most like my dad. Monica would do anything for anybody. Like she has helped so many people. She has raised so many of her own kids and her nieces, her nephews, grandkids. Like she's just the person who will drop anything to help somebody. And I honestly think my sister Monica probably has Dad's heart the most.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. I got a little emotional when you were talking about them, like, and some of their, like, how they were with special needs, like people with special needs and people that just needed help and assistance and perhaps just that caring, someone to care about them.
100%.
which was what I guess what y'all called pops, right? That the
Oh, yeah.
rest of, somebody cared. I guess I'm like that when it comes to like the special like that group of people, like anyone with special needs. My son is on the spectrum, so that just to hear anything about anybody that just loves, those special folks, it's just amazing to me. So it kind of got me a little teary eyed, a little emotional.
Just hearing when you talk about your dad when you had to take him to the hospital, I started thinking about my dad when I had to take him to the hospital. Although my dad didn't want to mess around with people, he was just really ornery and mean, and he would just be sitting there and just be mumbling under his breath, just, this is bullshit. And I'm like, Daddy, we got to do this. We're ready to go home. Like, come on now, we got to go. Come on, calm down.
Boy, does that sound familiar. He hated being in the hospital. He would try to find any way possible to get discharged. He would always lie to us, I'm fine, I feel fine. It's like, you're just saying that because you want to get out of this hospital.
I just remember this because he had to get his port replaced, and I had to take him, and I'm sitting there, and he's just like, he's waiting to get it done, and then he's sitting there, and I'm like, okay, we gotta wait for you to go. We got one more place for you to go to, and he's sitting at the vein guys, and he's just like, this is ridiculous bullshit. I'm like, why are you being so mean? He was ready to go. That's fine.
Oh, I love it.
So of course, like, even into family and even into wrestling and all that. So we wanted to share, like, I wanted, I don't know if she does or not, but I wanted to share like some of my stories as far as like the family does, and tell you, and, just let you know, like my history with watching you all and everything. So like with me is where I first come in. First thing off, my mom's a big wrestling fan too. So she remembered your dad and uncle. And I was like, so what were they like? She's like, you've not watched any YouTube videos? I said, I watched it. She said they were not nice. She said they were, and she just described and went on. She said, but so it was cool to hear. It was cool to hear from her, being a fan and watching of the business and everything. Watching them and seeing what they were about. But like for me, like I said earlier, I'm a little older than you and Monty. So I've I've been a wrestling fan since I was 8 or 9. So we've been through watching the ATD era, watching anything Rikishi, anything. Watched 3-minute warning, watched Matt as Rosie, watched watched Umaga, watched, the any version of Eki, going on, watched, of course, The Rock on up into the, your present. And it's been fun. Oh, how could I forget the mighty Yokozuna? How could I forget? But watching all those superstars, what's awesome is I would have never imagined at that time that was one family. And that's what blows my mind now. It's like y'all have literally had years impacting this business in such a good way. Yes, in the ring, you've had champions, but one thing that I respect about it, your uncle and dad had the school, and to produce so many of other stars that we've known in the past, that had their start there, and it's so to see the impact, just not within the family, but beyond those, what am I looking for? Beyond family, to see those students. And I guess to them, like just being like kids, more kids, right? So I know your dad it was cool to see, from what I understand, and if I've researched right, was close to his students. And so just to see that bond and to see what y'all have done outside of the family in the business is awesome to me.
Some of them ended up living in our house. Like, especially when we lived in Pennsylvania, we had a big house with a fully finished basement with 3 bedrooms down there. So any of the students that flew in from out of the country or from out of state, if they had nowhere to stay, they'd become part of our household because for however long their visa would allow them to stay. So we've had guys from Ireland and Australia, New Zealand, people from all over the world. We're just South Africa. We're just Holland. I'm trying to think. There's so many of them throughout the years. But we always had somebody living with us. That was just the way it was, whether it was a wrestling student, whether it was a wayward cousin. There was just always people here with us.
Yes.
And even after the shows, a lot of times these guys would stay here until crazy hours of the morning. And then Dad would just say, just go ahead and stay over. So there were bodies all over the floor, and just, he cared so much for everybody. Matter of fact, on his tombstone, it literally says someone who cared.
Yes.
Because that's who he was.
Right. And it's just that I think that's what I consider. Yes, the things you do in the ring is great and is amazing, but if you could just, I've always heard many of the guys and ladies say, leave the business better than you found it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I feel like that's like what a lot of you all have done. Speaking of even more on the family, I just love, like, I've never had an interaction with anyone in the family that has not been just amazing. I had got the chance, was it last year? Because I'm trying to think what year we're in. Yes, January of 2025. Rikishi came to Knoxville. I think it was 2025. Yes, came to Knoxville here in Tennessee, and did a signing at like I don't know if it was like some kind of sports shop.
Mhm.
Met him, amazing, the quietest, most humblest spirit about him, and was super nice. Got pics, got the autograph, the things us fans like to do. But I'll never forget, just so kind, and was willing to like chat there with me for like a minute and a half, and then we turn around, and me and another girl, of course, we got to see Jay at a signing in Norcross before Bad Blood last year.
Mhm.
And I remember, because we were chatting with you in that line, me and Lauren
Yeah,
was.
we were talking online. I remember that.
Yes. But even when I got up there to meet him, just that quiet humility, I thought in my head, it instantly, after I, come down off my little high of just being a fan and just me, I was like, that's from his daddy. That's the same kind of way, that vibes that I got from his dad, just that quiet, humble meekness, and was like, the mentality of like, all these people here for me. And that's why I could almost sit, and I wanted to be like, and I wanted to be, as a fan, be like, yeah, baby, we all here to see you. but no, it was fun. And the way he interacted with us, I think that week before, I had went to Georgia. I went down to Georgia Wednesday. We stayed up a little while. Wednesday night. Let's see, was it Wednesday night and Thursday night, or just Wednesday? Anyways, we stayed up, and me and Lauren and one of the other girls had made bracelets. We had like a bag that we ended up taking to that signing, and I think Lauren ended up giving that bag today of like these little friendship bracelets that we made for the family. So, and he took it, and I think, love his heart, she had even made him like a Waffle House one, which he was adored. And it was like, but my point being, like, again, anytime we've had contact, whether it be yourself or we've been to a meet and greet, or like just being at a show and like when they were doing house shows, just to have that interaction. It was fun. It was, you could tell, and then I was like, man, this is good people's, they humble, they appreciate the fans just as much as we love them, and I love that.
Well, remember, like, my dad really was very, very big on that, and Uncle Sika too. They're always like, without the fans, we're nothing. And even in their Hall of Fame speech, Dad, I remember it clear as day, he said, we owe it all to you fans, because without the fans, we wouldn't be where we are today. And he took that very much to heart. He never, ever denied a fan that moment to have. because it's all about creating those beautiful moments. And I'm so grateful to hear that everyone you've met in the family has been just wonderful and kind. And that's so important, because that's something Dad was very, very adamant about, was be good to the fans, because the fans are the reason you are where you are.
Mm-hmm. And that's just not like me. I've heard other people say they've had good experiences too. So we enjoy watching you guys, and so we're thankful from those of us that are actually, let's be real, the respectful fans, and we do it and we go because we love the athletes and we love the business, and we appreciate that back. And but that was just one of my experiences. I can't I don't know how else to elaborate. I was just thankful, and it was fun. It was fun too. So, Moni, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it like this. I actually I'm working on my second book is about to come out, and
Nice.
I was looking at the way it was set up, and pretty much my second book is the Bible of my series. And I was looking at it, and I realized something without actually realizing it. I was inspired by what your family has done and what they've put in place, and I've put it in my novel.
Nice.
So not only do I want to say thank you to that, but also to you, because you told me you were self-published,
Mm-hmm.
and it is because of you that now I am self-published.
That's amazing.
Honestly, I don't think I would have done it if you didn't say, no, I do it. Just put it out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cut out the middleman altogether. Don't worry about it and just put it out yourself. So thank you so much. Because you know how you said you wanted to be a mermaid and that was your thing? I've wanted to be a writer since I was 10 years old, and now I am one.
But
I think that's it.
oh, well, you know what? And she's going to get me. I don't know if she still wants to do this, but I want to get on the last segment, kind of, because we don't want to take too much of your time up. But on the last segment, I guess we wanted to have a little fun. So we are going to share, I shared the meet and greet and I shared the sentimental stuff, but I want to share us to share our fun stuff and how we have fun as it pertains to the family and everything with ATD. I know with me, one of my stories, let me say this, okay? Anyone in chat, please don't judge your wise woman. She messed up. I'd never been in trouble before in my life, and I messed up. Okay, I messed up, and I got in trouble. We all do. I'm okay now. I'm recovering. I'm good. But long story short, okay, this was back last year in September. I'd got in trouble and had to pay, had the consequences of that, right? So I had 30 days in jail. So, and my lawyer was like, you know what, if you got to do it, do you want to start it mid-September to give you time to get stuff organized? This was August 29th, I think. And I was like, no, let's go now. Give me a week. I'm going to get in here. Let's get this over with. I got to be out by October 5th because I got to see Roman.
Oh, I love it.
The girls had got bad blood tickets, and that's all I was worried about. I was like, nope, I got to get out of here. Let's go. Even to the point to where I was there to report in 5 or 10 minutes early. They were like, we can't take you in until 7 o'clock. No, we can't take you in until 7 o'clock. So we just laugh because we laugh every time we tell the story, and that's just how we are and how we joke around and kiki when it comes to our favorites. I was like, no, we got to get this done. I'm going to Atlanta October 5th. I'm seeing and I'm telling them, no, I gotta come see. I gotta see Roman, and who knows if Rock's gonna show up, and Jemison, in our terms, Jemison might come back, and so. But yes, so good news is that everything worked out and we're good. We got to go and we got to enjoy our events. even more importantly, we are on a good path. We're in a good place now. So, and I promise on my word to everyone in chat, your wise woman will not go through that again. No, that was enough for me.
And
But
speaking
of Miss Vale, I'm glad she's able to come in because I don't know how long she could stay. Let's bring her in. This is Miss Faith. This is our third. So let me get
the final boss.
the final boss. Hey, Faith.
Hello.
Hey, hi everybody. Sorry, work be working, okay? And I'm still working, but I could not miss the opportunity to say hello to the beautiful Vale. Hello. Sorry I am not on camera. I have client sensitive materials out and I don't want to get in trouble. But I just wanted to stop in. I think we're at the part where we're sharing our stories, kind of, Leslie. Monty, is
Yes,
that right?
ma'am.
I wanted to jump in and just say, I'm sure they've already put the sentiment out there, but I absolutely love your family. I have watched your family from sitting with my great grandmother and watching wrestling back in the day to now. And I will never forget the day that I got my DNA results back because my father passed away before I could get to know him. And I found out that he was Samoan.
Oh, wow.
And so me and my youngest daughter have just immersed ourselves in learning the culture, and we're planning a trip to America Samoa just so we could have that experience. But I love the Usos. I am a huge tag team girl. I love the tag team division. And watching Jay, Jimmy, Roman back through the pandemic and everything, I was battling colon cancer at that time. And I really had not a lot of joy during that time. But one thing I was not going to miss was my guys. That's how I refer to them, my guys, because they kept me in a place of happiness. And so just I just thank your family for joining the industry, being a part of the industry. I love your artwork.
Thank you.
I think it is amazing. I think you are uberly talented. I love seeing you with your tail on and during the mermaid. And if I lived closer, I would definitely book you. Okay. I would definitely book you because I think my youngest daughter would get a kick out of that. But I just wanted to jump in. Thank you for being who you are, for being so authentic and honest, sharing your heart with us, sharing your art with us, always being available to ATD. We appreciate it tremendously. And that's it. I gotta go, guys. I have another client call coming up.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me, truly, because if you're not going to be authentic, what are you even doing? Like, just
Right.
be who you are. That's my whole philosophy.
Okay,
Be all
I'm
of
trying
you.
to do this the way Gen Z does it, and I'm not doing it right. So I'm sorry once again. I'm gonna learn how to do this right.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Is
do
it like
mine.
this?
I'm old school. I do mine like this with the
Is
whole
that how they
hand.
do it?
With that one finger heart thing, it's like, I don't know. This feels more natural for me.
Again, don't judge me. I'm trying to be cool, okay? Okay, my child is feral, okay? I have a Gen Alpha Honey Badger, okay? I'm gonna learn some cool stuff before I die. Forgive me.
Hey, I bring back all the old school stuff. Like, I still say rad all the time.
yeah.
And like, as the young people would say, I'm very cringe, I guess. Because, like, and if I hear one more person with the 6'7", it's like, I will start.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, I had to, my 10-year-old doesn't say it. I had to ask her, what does that mean? And she looked at me and she said, it's brain rot, Mom. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it doesn't mean anything? No.
Although we did learn a word we cannot say anymore, and we will not mention that word here today.
I was about to bring that word up, but we're not gonna say it.
Because my daughter heard me say it. She's 15, and she almost died when she heard me say it.
We
So,
won't. No, we don't.
anyway,
know.
I gotta run, guys. Vale, thank you so much for your time, and always just I see you kind of check in and retweet some of our stuff. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it, and I wish you all the blessings in this new year. And I will definitely be praying for more opportunities. I heard you say that earlier. So be praying for more opportunities for you. Lonnie, Leslie, you know I love y'all. Everybody in the chat, deuces, deuces.
Thank you so much. Truly. Thank you.
All righty.
Oh goodness.
All righty. And while she was speaking, I was looking at my notes because I was trying to remember the question I wrote down. So we were talking about wrestling, and so my question was: so if you were a wrestler, what would your character be like? What would your like?
Huh.
And I guess would your character be? Having said that, would you be? And I know we don't use these terms anymore, but I'm an older wrestling fan. A heel or babyface character.
We still use those words. I promise you, we still use those words. See, of course, you know, as a young person and growing up, everybody creates their own wrestler in their head, creates their own personality. I never wanted to be a wrestler, but I desperately wanted to be a manager. And I 100% would have been one of those darker, witchy, mysterious characters. That was very much my vibe. And it's so much more fun to be a heel. It is so much more fun to be a heel. Sometimes it's really hard to be a face because it's like, there's only so far you can go. Or as a heel, it's unlimited. Like you can go as far as you want to go because anything to get that really intense heat, which is why it's just so much harder to be a baby face. It really is. So I would have been one of those dark, mysterious heels. I would have totally been in the Ministry of Darkness or the Brood.
That's so cool.
I would have been part of this faction for sure.
Now, having said that, I guess the second part of my question was like, so how would that person, like how would that character, how would she be alike or how would she be different from Vale?
Okay, well, in my personal life, I'm definitely much more of a face than a heel. But I've always been very drawn to the darker, mysterious forces out there. And I guess my character would be more of like a shamaness in a way, like the darkly spiritual power behind like the character who I'm managing. Kind of like the pallbearer to the Undertaker, but prettier.
Pretty. I love it. I love it.
No offense, I adored Paul Bearer. He was the nicest, sweetest man in the whole world, and I miss him terribly. And him and Howard Finkel, like, they were my faves. They were the ones I looked forward to seeing the most every single WrestleMania. And and Mick Foley too. I love me some Mick Foley, just the nicest, most awesome person. Paul Heyman, of course. Like, it's rarely ever like and of course I was an Undertaker girl. Like, he had me in the 90s when I was young and impressionable and madly in love with his character. I was very much an Undertaker girl. My nieces were all, oh, Bret Hart, or oh, Shawn Michaels. And I'm Undertaker. I was that girl. So I was always like the Lydia Dietz of the group, if you will. So to get back on track with the question, how would my character be alike and different from who I actually am? There wouldn't be a whole heck of a lot of difference, to be honest, except my character probably wouldn't have a tail and would be a lot more of the dark character than I am in real life. I'm much more whimsical and bouncy and happy more often than not, even though I do find myself very much drawn to all things dark and spooky. I mean, my wedding anniversary is Halloween.
Right, right, right.
Right.
So, like, I'm like the happy, cheerful goth, if you will. It can happen.
Now, so like when you think of like the cousins, like when you think of a Jimmy and Jay or a Roman, so do you think it's kind of the same thing with like with Joshua and John versus Jimmy or Jay and Jimmy, or is it this, or like is it the same with like Joe versus Roman?
I would say the most different is probably Joe and Roman, because Joe is the most just centered, down to earth, just wonderful person. He's very private, he's very quiet. He's not one of those big personalities. But then in a way, like, Roman kind of has that same vibe, so to speak, like that strong, powerful type. But Joe is so humble and just so thoughtful and kind. He's one of the few in the family who has frequently kept in touch with my mom, which is really, really wonderful. Like, my siblings, yes, but Joe has really been wonderful about checking in with mom, and because he was very close to dad, and he's been wonderful. He really, really has. So I have a deep appreciation. And I also loved the interview that Joe did with Stephanie for her podcast. That was really fun to listen to.
That one was hilarious.
That was so
This
good.
is the
In
first
so
time I
many
ever heard
ways.
Stephanie McMahon curse.
Yes.
I'm gonna need him to get a part 2 with Stephanie. That's how good that was. That was so
Absolutely.
good.
It was.
Like you saw, when you get the interviews like that, especially with him, it's the same way with like when you're talking to Paul. It's like he gives such, I guess it's depending on the interviewer too, like such a different side of like himself. And so it was really cool. It was really cool to see a little bit, to be honest, to see a little bit of Joe in there and to see, you know, him talking about his nest and messing with the kids. And I'm like, okay, that it kind of makes it, well, you know, this person is real and they got this life beyond this character, but you get to just to let us have a little peek of that was really cool. But
and I like Stephanie's podcast a lot. Like, she asks some really good questions and she lets the guests have their time to talk. She never interrupts. Like, it's a beautiful flow. And they feel so comfortable with her that they're able to open up in ways that they wouldn't with any other interviewer. And Stephanie is really, really good at bringing out the best in the people she interviews.
And speaking of cousins, and I'm guessing one of them is the nephew. Me and Monty, I joked with the girls and I told them, I don't know this thing going on with Lance and Zilla. We need to get them together and they're going to have to get a get along shirt.
Yeah. Like we need somebody to come get a belt and take care of this right now. Cause like we done. After what Roman and Jimmy what Roman and Jay did, we want no more fighting like that in the family. We're done. We don't need it. Like,
so I told them, I said, I'm going to go. If I got the family tree right, I'm guessing you're auntie to Lance.
Yes.
I said, I'm going to tell her to go. We were like, our word is collect. So we're gonna need you to collect your nephew and cousin.
Get along shirt. Get them
shirt
together.
That's great.
But
I love it.
But yes, we and it's even, you know, when we talk about the family, it's including, you know, Zilla and Lance and Jacob and, you know, just to see them thrive wherever they're thriving at. We kid with that, but like the support is so real there, no matter what they're doing, even if they're super kicking each other in the faces.
But still, even though we know, it still traumatizes us. Like we need everybody to get along now.
We joke that we're going to send them our therapy bills, especially with Joe. I'm gonna need, he getting my therapy bills from like 2020 on up. I kid, but no. And that's just complimenting them though, that they're so good at what they do. And do you want to share with her what we were with. Monty, I'm gonna let you do the nicknames if you want to do the nicknames.
Okay,
Our
so just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and refill everybody. Vale, I'm sure I told you the story, but my grandma passed away 15 months after my dad passed. My grandma pretty much raised me from the time I was 6 up until Gulag Sir to the time I was 36. So with that being said, my grandma, I used to watch wrestling with her. She don't know people's names correctly. Okay, it's the same woman who refers to my child, who used to call my child the wrong name. Now, I give everybody a nickname because of her. Because she would refer to Barack Obama as Obby, the Clintons as Clemens, Biden as Biden, Ridge from Young and the Restless, that was Rick. Victor Newman was always Victor Newman. But she didn't know how to say people's names. And so everybody has a nickname, as you know. Jimmy is Jimison. Jay is Jameson. Everybody knows we refer to Drew McIntyre as what? Chest hair. Now,
not just any chest hair, Scottish
it's just chest hair. It's just chest hair. Now we have, we have nicknames for, everybody else, but we also have a nickname, several nicknames for Roman Reigns. The first one, of course, is Romante.
Romante. Explain to her who Romante is.
Romante is the person who we're trying to get back on television because he's not speaking to us right now. So that is, he's out having cocktails and Mai Tais with Jason Momoa. That is Romante. And then there is Romathan. Romathan is whenever he's out in the ring and he's getting ready to talk and then somebody interrupts him before he can become Romante. And then, of course, there's a nickname, and a lot of people don't get it, but allow me to explain it. That nickname is actually something that in my culture, we reserve for kids that are bad. And that nickname is Man Man.
Man Man.
So we refer to him. So Roman has 3 nicknames.
You forgot DeMarcus.
Oh, well, that's Romante's full name, Romante DeMarcus Reigns. Like we're and then of course there's the nickname. Well, now he has 4. There's a nickname that I have been calling him this since 2016, and now that he's back being somewhat of a good guy, although we don't know, that is the shift leader.
Sammy wants to say hi. Hi, Sammy, baby.
Sammy.
You're on the interview. See, hi. Good girl.
But we call him the doggy. We call him the shift leader because, the shows are much better. It's like somebody leading the shift.
I get it. It's funny that you were adding like Jameson. My one cousin, Sean Melita, growing up, for whatever reason, my dad always called him Shanson. So it's like Shanson. It's like, so it's funny that you're adding the son, and my dad did the same thing to Sean. Shanson.
How funny. See, look at that.
It's something that my grandma used to do, and it's something that I do to just, it reminds me of her, and it's a bit of a comfort to me. And so now everybody has a nickname.
And let's see, what do we do with Solo? He's what? Joe Baby.
Joe Baby.
Zilla is the baby.
Zilla is the baby.
The baby.
Lance is Lancer.
I used to call,
I don't know why. Just Lancer.
Lancifer when he was little.
They called him, really?
We called him Lancifer.
Lancifer.
And he was such a good kid. He was like the best behaved one of the whole bunch, but we still called him Lancifer.
How funny. Now, if he was to ever come across this stream, he's going to be like, Auntie, why did you tell them that?
He'll be like, so Vale,
We love you,
what are
Lance.
you doing giving away all the secrets?
Uh-huh.
But no.
But we love you though. Just don't be kicking Zilla in the face no more.
Can y'all please just get along? Like, I'm tired of the fighting.
Oh, we have, we have a good time, and it's everything is sincere, and it's, I guess, like, our nicknames is our little love language, or our little fan language, or whatnot. But we have a ball, and it's just like, and that's just what, like you all do for us. It's brought us together. We come together basically with our origin story. I can't remember if we shared the last time, but we were just some
In
wrestling
Twitter
fans
space.
in a Twitter space. And it just so happened that we were all fans, be it let's it was Roman, okay? It was Roman. But we were all fans, and we were all talking wrestling, and we were all talking, Roman and bloodline and all this stuff. And it was just one of those, hey, we should do a podcast. And we had started out a wrestling, like full blown WWE. And it got taxing. It got tedious,
Yeah.
covering everybody. And so it's like, let's just try to get this our niche of just what do we all have in common that we just love in this business. And ATD was born, and we named it, and we were like, this is what we want to do the pod about. And we came up with this name, and we've just, as we say, our baby turned 2 back in July. And she's grown. Her room, it looks a little better, so.
She's still in her mama Monty's makeup, but it's okay.
But we laugh and we cut up and we have fun. But at the end of the day, we just want to do, we hope no matter who sees it, or no matter who sees something we do, or the silliness that we bring, or the love for the business and that we bring, or the dynasty that we bring, that we hope you all see that we're sincere. And we do. I'm big on respect. So I know I joke. They tease me, like, Trail, I wish he was here, because he goes on, Leslie and Man. She loves her Man. But yes, and it's like that. It's just a respect thing, like, but it's like the thing with him. I will be honest. Here's the thing with Roman. Like, he was in the Shield when I lost my father, and that's one thing that got me, watching him and Seth and well, Mox now, but seeing them, and like it got me back into wrestling, which, like we all said, I said this in well, I'm getting ready to release it, but a show that I've done, like how that is for us as fans, can be an escape for us, when we're dealing with issues in our lives. And so they brought me kind of back into wrestling, and I don't know why. I just, like, he was my favorite. I'm gonna be real. He was my favorite of the 3. So here we are. And then, later learning the history, and then the family. And I was like, man, I've been watching dude's cousins since I was like little. And like, so it's been a fun journey. And it's like, like, y'all have made it fun. And it's like,
and it's God, I'm going to cut you off, Leslie. Go ahead.
No, and just to say, I guess for me, it's I hope it's done. We try to be respectful. We have a ball with it, but our goal is to always be respectful with it. We joke and we laugh and we kiki, as Mimi says, we kiki, but that's the main goal. We just always be respectful with it.
It's the simple fact that your family has always been, like, whenever wrestling is booming, it's your family that's been behind it in some way, shape, or form. Like, when the Attitude Era popped off, it was The Rock and Wrestling. It was your dad. It was Yokozuna. And now with this new era, it's Roman, Jimmy, Jay, Solo, Jacob now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Your family has always been in the mix of this. And so for us, it's like every single time something big happens in wrestling, this family is always in the mix. They always have their fingerprints on it. And so for us, it's like, this is a love letter.
Yeah.
So to speak. So that's really
And
our main mission of this, because we see the way people talk and we see the way people give praise to other people, but really, you guys did it.
And I really, really appreciate the level of professionalism and respect that it's very, very clear that every single acknowledge the dynasty post, everything, it's so clear how much you respect and love the family. I've seen you stick up for us. I've seen you tear down people who have said not so nice things. And that's amazing. Like it shows the genuine love and respect and appreciation. And that's all we could ever ask for. That's all any of us could ever ask for, is for people who truly love and appreciate and care about what this family has built, the seeds that have been planted, and the giant forest that has grown from those seeds. It's like, and there's no slowing down. Like there's always another one rising through the ranks. There's just so many of us. And like, I don't think there's ever going to be a point in wrestling ever in all of the future where there won't be at least one member of my family still in wrestling in some way, shape, or form.
I agree with that. And and from what we're seeing, the future is looking bright, and to hear those backstories of the young ones, and it's super, just the stories throughout the generations. It's inspiring, and it's just, but you're right. I believe the business is in good hands. I believe it's in good hands. And um again, I'm just, I do want to say this. Anybody, if they got a fee, wonderful. We'll get them on. We'll pay and get them on. But anyone's welcome to come on. We have been trying to connect with brother with
Alpha
Alpha
Junior.
Junior, like, because I think he was on an episode with like Joe Lowry, and
What a day, Joe. Yeah.
yes, and he was like, and Joe had just happened to mention us, and he was like, get in my DMs, and I'm like, dude, I've been trying to get you. But I know with BPW he is slammed and he is busy. But having said that, I just want you to know, and you all to know, like, our door is open anytime. And we would just love the opportunity to, anytime when they're not crazy busy, anyone, could come on in, and we good. This is y'all's space too. I guess this is y'all's space too. And we would love to hear the stories and the wrestling stories, and just the stories, period, and get to know them as well. But Moni, have you got anything? And
I think we're good. I really do. I think
chat, I'm gonna give you like 1 minute.
Get those last few questions in now.
1 minute.
Yes. If you've got any questions, let's see what TJ says here. This is TJ. And he says the foundation of wrestling, I can't see that, of the wrestling business has the fingerprints of the Anoa'i Fatu dynasty.
That is 100% accurate. 100%. I love the way he worded that.
And then we call our little space here. This is a lot of these in the chat are like our regulars, like here, and they do our watch parties with us. So we call our little space the island. So TJ, he also says, I mean, it's an island for a reason. So yes, let her know, TJ. We'll welcome anybody, right? But I'm sure you know that, and you always welcome. But I feel like I'm just running my mouth. But
I feel like we might need a part 3 of this next year.
It's fun. I just love it. But so Moni, you good? Because I'm gonna let her.
Yeah, I think we're good.
So I'm going to let you, Miss Vale, if you just want to tell the people where to find you and about your projects. Let me tell you all, she is into everything. So Miss Vale, if you want to tell them what that everything is and where to find you for that, the floor is yours, ma'am.
All right. Well, she was not kidding. I am into everything, but my main social media is Vale the Mineola Mermaid, which you can find on Facebook. I'm Vale Anoa'i on, what is that thing called? Instagram. I think I'm Vale Anoa'i on X, on TikTok, Vale Anoa'i. Just look me up. If you just Google Vale the Mineola Mermaid, pretty much all my stuff will pop up, or just Google Vale Anoa'i. But I am an artist, a writer, a dancer, a mermaid, a crafter, a teacher. And my latest grand obsession, because my amazing husband bought me a sewing machine for Christmas and I was thrilled to pieces. Now I'm trying to learn how to make these extravagant fantasy dresses with approximately 3 seconds of sewing machine experience in my 40 years of living. So like, that's my newest artistic endeavor, and it's kind of taken over my whole consciousness. I'm always like, I need to be sewing, I need to be designing, I need to be creating. It's like, no, I need to be taking a breath every once in a while. I don't need to be creating 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Feels that way sometimes, but I also make these super cool little custom glass message in a bottle creations called Vale's Buried Treasures. You can find those on Facebook as well. My books are available from lulu.com. My paintings are on Fine Art America and or pixels.com. Just look up Vale Anoa'i. And basically that's it. And as long as there's still a breath in my body, I will be creating something because creativity is my lifeblood.
Yes, I feel that. I feel that. And as for us, I'll go ahead and give y'all out, if you're listening, our socials. You can find us here on the YouTube. If you've not subscribed, subscribe for more, guys. Because this is always, sometimes later in the year we're gonna be selfish with it, and it's just gonna be on the tube of you. So that's subscribe. It's at capital A Acknowledge the capital D Dynasty. You can find us on TikTok at acknowledge.the.dynasty x ATD podcast 23. And let's see, what am I missing, Moni? The
Instagram.
Acknowledge _the _dynasty, and all across social media, because we're trying to get this awesome, beautiful family their flowers and get them out there. Because like you said, I am so honored, because when someone steps up, I'm like, oh, am I gonna have to fight today? Don't be messing with my fam. But no, and that's just showing that love and giving them flowers. But that's where y'all can find us. Moni, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, guys, if you see that little QR code in the corner, we are holding a fundraiser for Russell Faith, guys. She just popped in to say hello. She is working. Click on that. Go ahead, take a picture of it with your phone. If you can donate. If you can't, share the link so that way we can do it. We're doing this all month for her. I think that's about it.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. One more thing before I go. I wrote a book.
Yes, you did.
I wrote a book. The link is in our description box in our bio. It's in our link tree. You can click on either one. I prefer you click on the Amazon version of the book because I like what Amazon is doing. Click on that one. It is available to you guys. Again, my second book, which is titled Two Princes. It'll be out on July the 21st, 2026.
All
Again,
right.
I'm not going to explain to you what happens in the first book. If you pick up the second book, that's not my job. That's not my job. With that being said, thank you so much to Miss Vale Anoa'i for being here.
Thank you for having me again. I'm so happy that I got to do this twice.
Again, we're going to have to do this one more time. I get that.
Anytime. Yes, ma'am.
And with that being said, everybody, please be sure to watch your back for chairman shots. Drink your water. Acknowledge Tribal Chief. Acknowledge Dynasty. And remember, Leslie, although we have not explained this to her, it's been a while since she's watched the live, and since she's seen this, there's a little saying that I say at the very end. And well, we'll explain it later. But Leslie, this is not a rocktocracy. What is it?
It's a rocktatorship. Y'all get ready.
All right, everybody. We will see y'all for Friday Night SmackDown. I am exhausted. Peace out. Deuces, ooses.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching.